Last time on Sealed Only Sunday. Right, so the patrons have made their pick, and they've picked the 2019 tin, which is very unfortunate because that was not actually my target for this week. Heretic Spheres, let's go! I don't know about this one, folks. Greetings everybody and welcome back to Sealed Only Sunday. Last week we got our asses absolutely obliterated by the fact that we failed to perform what our deck should perform. Shocking surprise, right? Now, something I've actually gone ahead and done in between these episodes is I had a look through our collection and I've actually decided to sell a card for the first time. If you guys remember, we upgraded the ability to sell cards back to Todd for 25% of their value should we want to, and generally speaking, we only have to do this at the end of every episode. Well, I kind of missed the fact that I wanted to do it, and I did it in between episodes. So, we have sold our Pot of Extravagance. Simple reason for this is the Pot of Extravagance will almost never be used by us now since we rely heavily on the extra deck and don't want to banish anything from it. So I decided that having 750 extra DP is probably the correct choice to do. So we will simply add another 750 when we get our daily budget. Which is right now! Haha! Actually earning ourselves 4,000 DP total today, including the sale of our pot. It's going to be an interesting one because we have a lot of things we need. If you guys watched the last episode, of course, you know that we lost a lot simply because our turns 2 and 3 were really bad. We can set up a decent enough end board on turn 1 in order to deal with, well, most things our opponent can throw at us, especially if we have any of our traps in our hand. But when we get to turns, well, 3 and 5, I assume, we really fall flat. We don't have anything in our extra deck that can do nearly anything if our board dies, which is incredibly unfortunate. So if there's one thing we need to pick up from the shop today, it'd be that. We also have one patron claiming a reward today, and that's Mothman. Mothman has challenged us to a money match, which will happen just before the week's duels. The money match is an incredibly naughty thing because A, if he wins, he steals a card from us. Any card. However, if we win, we steal a card from whatever deck he decides to use. This could potentially be massive considering he does actually have quite a few good cards in the deck that he runs, like Crystron Hockey Fibrax, which would actually be really good for us. Regardless of that though, we're gonna head on over to the store and we're gonna see just what we can pick up today. Whoa, speak of the goddamn devil. This shop is absolutely crazy full of value. I can't believe I'm saying this, but I think we have an obvious option. The Legendary Hero Dex not only gives us a massive pool of cards to play with, but it also includes a lot of cards we can actually make use out of. Not only something like Bardiche and even half of the Phantom Knights to begin with, as they just help extend our board, but it actually gives us a card we've had issues dealing with in Basil, I don't know. The freaking undestroyable dragon that just punches things repeatedly. That is like the best going second, turn 3, whatever card we want to call it. We actually really need that, and considering the amount of DP we bring into today, I think we have to pick it up, right? There's just no excuse not to. We will go ahead, however, and we'll check what the patrons have chosen for us, because the pact is still charged. Wait, we actually have a split decision? I think this is the first time our patrons actually haven't been aligned either. We have a split between Eternity Code and the Legendary Hero Dex. This gets really interesting now, because for us to actually trigger the bonus rewards, we have to pick both. But I think that's exactly what we're going to do anyway, because Eternity Code has so many good pieces for us now, especially considering we can take the deck in so many directions, and the Legendary Hero decks are just absolutely absurd, and skipping them would be silly. Okay, I think I've made my choice. We are enacting the pact, buying ourselves the Legendary Hero decks as well as 9 packs of Eternity Code. We're going all in on this, boy. Well, that's not exactly the best roll we could have gotten, but we'll happily take 3 extra packs of Eternity Code, now upping the total to 12. Let's get to pack opening. This could be a big one. So, there's been a bit of an oopsie here. Normally speaking, I tend to animate the pack opening simply because I think they give a little bit of extra flair to something that is otherwise rather dull. Unfortunately, the software I use to fetch all of the pack data is down at the moment. I've done my best to attempt to fix it, but it's not there, and sitting through 12 packs of 9 card eats manually would take way too freaking long. So, for this episode, you're just going to get the pure replay of me actually opening the packs on the pack opener. Yeah, it's a bit more dull, but I hope that it's fixed by next week so I can go back to doing usual stuff again. If it's not, this will continue until it is. I'll do my best. Right, onto the live audio. Whoa! Alright then, Eternity Code is a make it or break it set, because there is a lot of good stuff in this. Let's hope for the best. Starting out with pack number 1 here, Super Heavy Samurai Wagon, Unchained Twin Sarama, Deep Sea Artisan, Magical Hound, Parallel Exceed, Splash Mage, Salamangoid Zeroid X, Ancient Warriors Deceptijai Win, and Grave Digger's Trap Hole. Oh, okay! We're just gonna start off with a secret. That means we've officially completed 1 criteria of our level up as well, because that is the 3rd secret rare we've pulled. I have no complaints. Gravedigger's Trap Hole is actually pretty good. Let's go to pack number 2 here. Stairs of Mail, Necroquip Prism, Nemesis Adradia, Goki Guts, Parallel Exceed, Bluebeard, Evil Eye Reemergence, Super Heavy Samurai, and Deep Sea Aria. 2 secret rares back to back, and they're not one of the ones we want. I don't care though, that's incredible. Okay, well, I guess that goes on the sell pile. Pack number 3, Deep Sea Artisan, Rainbow Zoo, Pinpoint Dash, Codebreaker Virus Berserker, Marinsa's Basilama, Magical Hound, Exceed Revive Splash, Golden Hair, and Scriptron. Not one that I want, but that is a-okay. Let's go for the next pack. Goldilocks the Battle Landscraper, Codebreaker Virus Berserker, Bluebeard, Codebreaker Zero Day, Splash Mage, Proxy F Magician, Pinpoint Dash, an Ancient Warrior, and Plunder Patrol Party. Yikes, don't want that either. Let's go pack number 5 here. Proxy F Magician, Tattooey Dragon, Performer Pal Turn Trooper, AIQ, 1 Super Heavy Samurai, Resonator Command, Torpedo Takedown, Rainbow Zoo, and Plunder Patrols, whatever. Ship. Alright then, let's go for pack number 6. Necroquip Prism, Torpedo Takedown, Evil Eye Reemergence, Link Burst, Lantern Shark, Unchained Twin Sarama, Goki Iron Claw, Stairs of Mail, and Burning Draw. Well, we're halfway through, and we have 2 secret rares that we don't have any use for, but at the very least, it's a challenge complete, meaning we technically have an ultra rare wild card available to us. Let's go for the last 6 packs as well, so we don't stall. Eternity Code, let us go. Ancient Warriors Thingy, Pyrate the Ghost Pirate, Link Burst, Crimson Resonator, AIQ, Resonator Command, Salamangoid Zebroid X, King Beast Barbaros, and Gotchiri Ad Ignister. Not what we wanted either. Next one up, Nemesis Adradia, Deep Sea Sentry, Deep Sea Minstrel, Golden Hair, Magical Hound, Goldilocks, Goki Iron Claw, Marinsa's Basilama, and Nemesis Corridor. Not what we want either. Alright, Red Familiar, Proxy F Magician, Ancient Warriors Jawin, Stairs of Mail, Deep Sea Sentry, Goki Iron Claw, Codebreaker Virus Swordsman, Buzzsaw Shark, and Plunder Patrol Party. We've got 3 packs remaining here, let's hope for the best. Megalith Unformed, Buzzsaw Shark, Stairs of Mail, Proxy F Magician, Magical Hound, Super Heavy Samurai Wagon, Deep Sea Artisan, Noctovision Dragon, and Witchcrafter Unveiling, but Noctovision we actually need, so that is a very good card to pick up here. Second to last pack, let's go. Torpedo Takedown, Red Familiar, Goki Ironclaw, Necroquip Prism, a second Noctovision, Super Heavy Samurai Wagon, Bluebeard, Megalith Unformed, and Ravenous Crocodragon Archithis. I don't think we can summon Crocodragon, but having it's kind of cool. But 2 Noctovision is part of what we wanted from here, so I'm honestly not upset about it. That is a-okay. For the last pack here, we got King Beast Barbaros, Noctovision Dragon yet again, Deep Sea Sentry, Unchained Twin Sarama, AIQ, Pyraith the Ghost Pirate, Codebreaker Zero Day, Rainbow Zoo, and Marinsis Great Bubble Reef. Well, we did pull some secrets. It was not the secrets we wanted, but it does do a little bit to help us, if not for the sell box. However, having access to this set now, Noctovision Dragon playset is awesome, although we'll probably only play 1 or 2. But we actually also have access to the legendary hero decks, and that is where half of our new deck construction is going to come from. Let's cut right to the deck build. You guys are going to enjoy this. Okay, so hear me out. I promise I have a plan with this one. I really do. The fact that we now have the legendary hero decks available to us means one major thing. We have a PK engine. The thing is, most of our deck is currently consisted of dark monsters, and during the times when we don't get Rocket Tracer, we need something to be able to summon that still has an impact on the board. Although difficult, Bardiche happens to be that card. Not only that, but something like Fogblade is one of the best trap cards we have available to us, so we kind of need to abuse it as well as we can. Not only that, but Basil, or Bezel, or whatever the hell he's named, is an absolute powerhouse. We should not underestimate the power of something that can't be destroyed and constantly grows bigger. It's terrifying. Now, while we're looking at the deck here, I did mention at the start of the video that we're having a money match today. Unfortunately, due to time schedules, it'll happen after the Lupine Weekly duels, because our schedules just didn't line up. Mothman was a busy man, apparently. Too busy to play card games with me. Yeah, don't worry about that. Just having a spasm. It's all good. The deck that we're playing today still attempts to capitalize on the fact that we have access to Rocket Tracer, a couple of negates, and we can set up a decent enough looking board, now with a going second or third option in Basil. I don't have much more to say about this. Let's head into the Lupine Weekly and see exactly what we can go for. Well, for the first duel of this week, it's about as uninteresting as it gets. We have round 1 bye. Don't have much to say about this one. Duel number 2 of the week, however, we're playing up against King Diabetes playing Sacred Beasts, and if there is one thing we don't like playing up against, it's massive beat sticks that can't be destroyed by card effects. Yikes. Starting turn for Diabetes here is actually really good, having Ravioli in defense position along with Almirage and Fallen Paradise, as well as their trap card, meaning every single monster we summon is just going to give them free life points. Unfortunately, we kind of have to summon things. It's part of what we do. So we go for Seyfert, throwing itself to the wayside to summon the mighty Striker Dragon, going into Hermetic Spheres, which allows us to use our freaking Parallel Exceed. But of course, Parallel Exceed gets hit with Ash. Damn. So we decide to go for the Unicorn, forgetting that Fallen Paradise has card text, and we kind of messed up here. Passing the turn back to Diabetes, we immediately realize that there is not much that we're going to be able to do this game. We simply have to sit and watch as the loop continues, and we get punched in the face for a massive 5,800. And then punched for 0, because BM, I guess. At this point, we know for a fact we're not going to be able to punch over the Ravioli, and we draw a Boots for turn, which is not exactly what we're looking for. So we scoop them up and go game number 2. Game number 2, our starting hand is slightly better. I will give it that. We do actually have something to negate any impactful card, and the only card in the hand we really have to deal with is Fallen Paradise. Fallen Paradise is going to get hit with the Cosmic Cyclone here, going for the Dark Beckoning Beast, or whatever the name is, for the Chaos Beckoning Beast, but brings out Chaos Summoning Beast, which we have to hit with a Solemn, or we're gonna die. Unfortunately, that still lets him search out the Hamon, going back to Chaos Summoning Beast, but unfortunately at this point, we actually had an issue. At this point, King Diabetes actually disconnected from the game. Now, in accordance with the rules of the Lupine Weekly, should you disconnect in the middle of a match, you technically concede the entire match. However, during the round timer, it was like, I don't know, 30 minutes something left. We decided that, hey, that's kind of a cheap way to go out, so for the integrity of the series, we decided to go into a Game 3 anyway, setting our standing to 1-1, still giving him a fighting chance, because let's be honest, in that situation, he would have definitely won the duel. So, game number 3. And what a game number 3 it is. Our starting hand is absolutely stacked, however, we would have wanted to go first to do so. However, Diabetes simply just summons a Link Karibo, meaning we're off to the races. We go for the Striker Dragon without activating the effect, activating its secondary effect to bring back our Rocket Tracer. At this point, we can summon both Rocket Tracer and Rocket Recharger, using our Monster Reborn to bring back the Striker Dragon. At this point, we are able to go into our Erratic Spheres, which is going to trigger the Phantasma in his hand, which is unfortunate. We go for the Booster Dragon here, pitching the Cloak, simply because we have no use for the Cloak in hand, going into our traditional Borreload Savage Dragon, now with 2 negates. We activate Cloak's effect to bring Boots to our hand, and we go for the battle phase. Link Karibo, of course, is going to be activated, but we're going to choose to negate it here so we can go in for the absolute bonkers. However, Diabolos shows up, and we punch it in the face. We pass turn over to Diabetes now with 2 interactions on our turn, which is going to be mandatory. Here comes the Twin Twister, which we're unfortunately forced to let it go through. Going straight to battle phase, we're forced to use the Erratic Spheres effect here to bring out Rocket Tracer, bouncing the Phantasma to hand. He is going to normal summon Effect Veiler to bring back Link Karibo, which is unfortunate. We make ourselves useful by normal summoning our Boots, bringing out a Magna Rocket Dragon, activating Noctivision Dragon from hand, then activating our Boots from the graveyard in order to get Fogblade. We then go into Bezel. He is going to attempt to activate Link Karibo to stop one attack, which he does, and we negate the Diabolos, punching in for 3k, and our board is about as good as it can be. Unfortunately for Diabetes, his hand is not. Setting a card and then activating Fallen Paradise allows us basically free reign on the board, so we decide to show off. Foolish Barrier is going to get Galactic Spiral Dragon, which we will attempt to go into Dingirsu with, but nope, we are denied. And for that denial, we're going to punch in for game and claim a victory. Albeit somewhat half-assed. For match number 3, we're playing Darkonic, playing Dinosaur Go Burr. He sets 1 card and passes to us, probably meaning his hand was absolute garbage, but ours is none the better. We decide to set 4, to which he chains Twin Twister, and place a second Twin Twister. My rage at this point was absolutely fuming, so out of pure despair, I activate Cosmic Cyclone, taking 1000 damage because I'm pissed. He normal summons Scrap Raptor, which is enough to beat everything in our hand, so we just have to set ourselves a pair of boots and pass turn. Terraforming is going to find Lost World, which is going to get the dinosaur shenanigans started here, but he does destroy our boots, letting us use Fogblade to bring it back. At this point, we unfortunately don't really have any linked targets available, but we do go for the Striker Dragon breaking the boots here to get our Rocket Synchron back, so we're able to go into our spheres. We go for the Parallel Sea play again, but of course, the 1 card in hand is an ass to stop us dead on our tracks, and we're yet again stuck doing nothing. Here comes the dinosaur, which means we are absolutely screwed here, because Lost World is going to put a token on the field. We're going to bring out Rocket Tracer, and something I learned during this duel is the fact that even if I'm the one destroying the token, the destruction can be prevented. It's kind of weird, to be honest, but yeah, that's apparently how that card works, meaning dinosaurs are off to the races. At this point, I have literally nothing against a UCT. You can probably guess how this duel's gonna go by this point. The entire dinosaur combo shenanigans goes off, and, yeah. Taking a look at that board and taking a look at our hand, I don't think there's a lot we can do to that one, Chief. We're going to go ahead and flip everything up, but of course it's gonna get flipped right back down again, meaning we can scoop this one up and go game number 2. Game number 2 is interesting, to say the least. We do get an Noctivision Dragon trigger here in order to protect our Striker Dragon, but bringing back the Rocket Synchron won't be possible thanks to the fact that he said no. We do still manage to get out our Quad Boral Dragon, however, and Quad Boral Dragon, in turn, is going to be able to bring back out Rocket Synchron. Now, here I decided to go for the funny haha meme play, even though I necessarily didn't have to, because I really wanted to get to summon Bardiche. I probably should not have done that in retrospect. However, we do manage to set 3, and of course, the Twin Twister! This time, however, we are able to use the secondary effect of Noctivision Dragon to protect our set cards, which I thought I would never get to do. We do manage to Fog Blade the Oviraptor as well, meaning we're in a decent spot here. We do attempt to Rocket Tracer the Fog Blade, however, we are hit with a Solemn Strike, which kind of puts a dent in our plans. We do go for the Rocket Synchron, unfortunately our only target being Background Dragon that ends up doing nothing. As we pass turn back, he sets a Compulse and passes back to us, and we draw Galactic Spiral Dragon. We activate Dragon Ravine in our hand to pitch the Spiral Dragon in order to pitch the Absorautor Dragon. Absorautor Dragon will search with Rocket Tracer, and Rocket Tracer will be normal summon and attempt to break the Fog Blade again. This time, however, he bounces his own Oviraptor back, which is probably the smartest play he could do. We're then hit by Quaking Mirror Force, which is absolutely, like, just tormenting me at this point. We know for a fact he has Oviraptor. We have one Bottomless to stop it, but that is not enough because that is just going to find the Misk, and Misk is going to go off to do dinosaur business. Even at 1, the card's really good, let's be honest. This, of course, means that the Jewel Soar is going to come out, bring in Giant Rex with it, going for the double Evo Pill, and our Death and Demise is here. You could say that, yeah, I may have shotgunned the Bottomless here, but keep in mind Misk would have protected UCT from being hit by Bottomless to begin with, meaning it was either there or not at all. Unfortunately, this is going to be enough to basically clear our board, leaving us with Bardiche, but Bardiche has no targets left in deck to activate its effect, meaning we're basically dead here. We go in for an attack just because we can, but Linkaribo's going to stop us. We pass turn back, we know we're dead, and if I had only chosen to do a different combo and not end on Bardiche, this would have gone a lot better. Now, for the final duel of today, we're up against Mothwoman playing Gran Maju. This deck is terrifying. She is going to go ahead and set 1 card, pass back to us, and then immediately flip over Macrocosmos, which basically ruins everything we want to do. We go for Dragon Ravine here, only so we can pop it to bring out Basil. Basil or Dragon is going to be our best choice going forward for basically everything. Linkaribo is going to be summoned here off of the Battle Fader from last turn as we simply go back into combat, punch over the Linkaribo, going to gain 500 off of Soul Absorption, and I see where this is going. They are just going to pass their turn back to us, which means we are just going to go ahead and go to Battle Phase, punch in, and we're going to be hit with another Battle Fader. Oh my god, the Battle Faders. We simply have to pass back again. Another Linkaribo comes out, which is 500 more life points. Pass turn, and of course, we don't draw a normal summonable monster again, so we're forced to do the same thing again. 500 more life points. Can you see where this is going? Allure of Darkness is going to come out here, which is going to banish a Necrophase from hand, which is going to banish 5 cards from each one of our decks and gain an absolutely absurd amount of life points thanks to Soul Absorption. 16k, people. Pot of Desires is going to make that even worse as she draws into 2 Grand Majus, now having 3 of them in hand, going straight to Battle Phase, punching into her Basil. But here's the trick with Basil. He ain't gonna die. He's just gonna get equally as big as Grand Maju. This is gonna allow us to punch into Grand Maju to trade as we cannot be destroyed by battle, hopefully being able to clear anything else that comes on board. At this point, setting 1, summoning the second Grand Maju, punching into Basil again for a large chunk of damage, and at this point, we're just gonna grow bigger. Going into draw phase, we're going to proceed to end phase here because I am terrified of that back row. That end phase ends up being... Okay, I'm confused. Yeah, Mystic Mine is going to break itself, of course, but that is going to give more cards into the banish pile, which may have been the correct choice here, because normal summoning another Grand Maju puts a massive damper in our plans, now that we can't activate Strike anymore. That's unfortunate. We do proceed to battle phase here, as I now regret not doing it the previous turn, punching over one of them. Unfortunately for us, we do have to banish a card off of hand size, and that's going to be enough to basically kill us. At this point, they just pass turn over, afraid of our back row, which makes sense. We set a card and pass back because I'm terrified of back row. And Twin Twister again. Fucked. Out of the 4 cards that we had in our back row, Pogblade was the only one we needed to secure the game, and it's destroyed. At this point, battle phase is going to be enough, and we have to concede game 1. Game number 2, we're now well aware of what's going on and what we have to hit to win the game. We do go ahead and just set 2 here on the first turn, knowing that we don't really have another option, as Allure is going to be sent. Allure is going to banish Phantasme, and then Pot of Desires is going to draw 2. Then, wow, Pot of Duality. Okay. setting one and passing turn, and here I'm a dum-dum because I forget what cards exist in Grand Module. I know what that face down is now, let's just say I didn't at the time. Soul Absorption is going to be sent here. We're going to normal summon our Cloak, flip summon our Boots to actually summon Breaksword. I didn't expect that, but then I see it's evenly matched, and now I'm terrified. We are going to go into the Time Thief Redoer here, but of course we're going to be met with the fattest Battle Fader of all time. Unfortunate. At this point, we are going to start stealing cards off the top of the deck here to utilize as much as we can, knowing that they're playing Grand Module, meaning we can probably win this one by deck out. We're going to steal a card every turn using our effect to draw a card and drawing into Foolish Barrier, which is going to send Noctivision to protect our back row. We're going to bring back Noctivision temporarily so we can make Basil yet again, because we kind of need to. Punching Face in order to attempt some damage, but of course, Battle Fader number 2. Linkuriboh is going to get rid of the Battle Fader during the end phase, which is going to gain 500 more life points and have a Linkuriboh on board. We are going to yet again steal a card during the standby phase. We're going to be met with Raigeki, meaning we have to bounce our Time Thief Redoer out of there temporarily, which of course gives more life points to our opponent, but he does come back. Everything is fine. We attempt to steal another card here, but we're met with Metaverse again, meaning we're under Mystic Mine, and this time, Mystic Mine actually hurts. We are not going to be able to do much here. We are going to activate Dragon Ravine simply because we want to send Absorauto Dragon to the graveyard, even if we can't summon anything off of it. We are now stuck in the Mystic Mine War, meaning we just have to wait out the 10 cards in the deck. Allure of Darkness is going to help us with that as they banish Necroface. This is probably the best thing that could happen to us. More cards are going to get banished here, leaving 3 cards in deck, but Eater of Millions is going to be sent. That's terrible. Dimensional Fissure also hits, and here comes Twin Twister, but we have a Noctivision Dragon in our graveyard that we're going to choose to activate to protect. Because, let's be honest, that's basically the only thing I have to do here. Redoer is going to activate its effect now that I can to do a card, and Mystic Mine is going to be destroyed. At this point, it's do or die, and we have to set up as much protection as we can to make sure that our opponent decks out. Gold Sark is going to be sent here. We're going to steal a trap card, which is going to seal the game because we can bounce a card back. Game number 3, and oh boy, this is not fun. 1 card set passing turn, and I'm not thinking that that might be what I saw before. We go for Siegfried here. We are going to be chained with a what's he called? D-Shifter? D-Shifter. We are going to be able to do a reasonable combo here at the very least, going for the Basil yet again, but at the end of battle phase, you know what's coming. Evenly matched. Yeah, this is why you set your cards in main phase 2, kids. Don't be stupid like I am. Luckily for us, however, there's not much retort to this, as we are able to just go into battle phase and beat for 3k with no Battle Fader this time. Going into the next turn, top decking Scapegoat. Scapegoat is an absolute monster of a card against us because we have nothing that deals piercing damage. We draw Quick Launch, and we have to do Magna Rocket Dragon here because it can't attack, and we can't use Rocket Tracer's effect to blow up Basil, so we just summon Rocket Tracer off of Magna Dragon so that we can keep it. D-Shifter is drawn for turn, but that doesn't matter because here comes Eater of Millions. This card is really annoying. We're gonna get our Rocket Tracer out of there to make sure it goes into the graveyard, attacking into Basil, of course, because Basil is the best card around. We draw Dragon Shrine for turn. We're gonna send Background Dragon here to go into Striker Dragon, using Striker Dragon's effect to bring back our Rocket Tracer so we can activate Background Dragon to summon both of them. At this point, we're able to go into Quad Boral Dragon, pitching our Absorauto to go back into our Magna Rocket as well as Rocket Tracer. Absorauto Dragon's going to draw us Rocket Synchron. Rocket Synchron's going to be Noble Summon to bring it back so we can go into our Borreload Savage Dragon. We can also bring out our Time Thief Redoer here, which is actually great. We have to beat over the Eater of Millions here. We don't have a choice, so we have to use our negate to do so, beating into one of the Scapegoats as well. Unfortunately, that is a bad card to see. Dimensional Fissure comes out along with Grand Maju, which is terrifying, beating straight over our Borreload Savage here with no choice for us but to smile. We go for the Time Thief Redoer here. Redoer is going to draw a card which ends up being Mirror Force, and Mirror Force is the best card we could draw here, hands down. However, Mothman is onto us, choosing not to attack, knowing that we can't get over Maju no matter what we do, and we have less cards in deck this time around. We do get Fogblade off the top, but we get evenly matched for 2 here, which sucks. But we do manage to keep our Mirror Force on board, which is what we had to do. We steal another card, which ends up being a spell card, as she simply passes turn back to us. We set ourselves an Imperial Order using the effect of Time Thief Redoer to draw a card, and we can't attack. So, We steal another card. Gold Sark is going to come up, which is going to send Necroface. Necroface is going to banish 5, and this is where they go in for the attack to win the game. But Mirror Force. Mirror Force ends up sealing the deal as they cannot take another attack. Well, shocking myself and probably everybody else, we actually turned this around to a 3-1 week. That's insane. I don't think we've had a 3-1 week since the first episodes at this point, and it's not exactly like they were undeserved, except for, you know, one of them, I guess. One was whatever. I'll take a 3-1. I don't care how it was achieved, to be honest. Now, this does give us a massive reward chunk this week in 525 DP, which is absolutely crazy, let's be honest here. But more importantly, it also gives us access to a level up reward because we have now officially opened 3-pack secret rares, giving us a level 1 ultra rare wildcard. We now have 2 of them. Kind of weird because we don't really have a set we want to try using them on yet, at least not in my knowledge. But hey, if you have recommendations, do post them down below. Just keep in mind the only sets we can use them on are sets we've opened. So, you know, we can't just magically create anything else. Eternity Code is kind of what I'm leaning towards attempting to use them on, because we could get something like Metal Cruncher, which would allow us to go back into playing machines again, or we could pick up any of the other good ultra rares. There's a couple of them in there, actually. I'll have a think about that. Regardless, we are now going to move on to our first money match, and these require a little bit of explanation so that you understand them. A money match can be engaged by any of our supporters that have the appropriate funds to do so, I suppose. Now, money matches are special. They'll always go off with a best of 3. So, same as the Lupine Weekly, right? With one major exception. These matches are played with an ante. For those that don't know, an ante is when both players choose a card from their opponent's deck to risk for the duel. Win, and you take your opponent's card. Lose, and you forfeit the card. Simple, right? Now, because I don't want this series to be stuck in a stalemate where everybody's stealing my best cards all the time, it has a caveat. If I lose, I have the option to either sacrifice my card or pay up. The payout starts at 500 DP, but doubles every single time I choose the option. If I, at some point, choose to sacrifice a card instead, the counter resets. Simply put, going up against Mothman this week is either going to lose me my ante or 500 DP. Luckily for us, we have barely enough to afford that, so we'll see what happens. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, here we go for the first ever money match brought to us by Mothman. You can probably take a guess where this is going to go because our track record so far is not exactly that great. Our antes up for grabs is our Basil of the Diabolic Dragons against his Chaos Ruler. Chaos Ruler is actually a card that we could have great use for, but winning this matchup is going to be near impossible given that it's zombies. As you can see, Mothman's turn is going to be absolutely crazy, basically bringing out everything in the deck needed. We fire off our Cosmic Cyclone immediately here to prevent Balladrock from hitting the board, meaning they're not going to get to draw a card or ban or something. We're going for Striker Dragon here. Striker Dragon bringing out Boot Sector Launch. Boot Sector Launch, of course, doing its shenanigans to summon the Rocket Recharger back from the graveyard, bringing out our spheres, but that's about it. We preemptively fire the spheres in order to bring out an Absorouter Dragon, bouncing the Fraulein back, as we now can flip open Gravedigger's Trap Hole, stopping Balladrock from hitting the board for one turn. It's basically as much as we can do as we do Solemn Strike on the Necroworld bench to prevent Zombie World from coming out. Lambda is going to destroy our Absorouter Dragon, to which he's going to chain Gamma in hand, to which we are going to chain Ghost Bell. We do manage to draw ourselves the Rocket Tracer here. Unfortunately, zombies are zombies. We can't really stop them from doing exactly what zombies do, and as such, combo goes off anyway. Now, Balladrock is going to hit the board with Zombie World active thanks to the second Necroworld Banshee here, meaning we are essentially dead. We're going to bring back the Rocket Recharger normal, summoning the Rocket Tracer, going for Fog Sword here, which is going to be enough to beat over Balladrock, but that isn't really going to end up mattering. We go for the Time Thief Redoer just to have something on board. However, you know what's going to happen here. We attempt to steal a card with our Time Thief Winder, but that is going to be hit with an Ash Blossom off the top, going into the Vampire Sucker, which is going to be enough to start triggering stuff. We do steal a card here. It ends up being a monster, so it doesn't matter too much. Balladrock hits the board yet again. Balladrock is, of course, going to use its effect to banish a card off the field, so we get our Time Thief Redoer out of there in hopes that we can do anything about it. Unfortunately, our card for turn is Background Dragon, which ends up doing nothing because there are no dragons available thanks to Zombie World, so we can basically scoop this one up and go game number 2. Game number 2, however, our starting hand is absolute dog shit. Lancia is going to hit immediately, but we don't really have any banishing whatever. We attempt to terraform, that gets hit with an Ash Blossom, meaning we can do Foolish Burial just fine. Foolish Burial for the Apsarauto Dragon to normal summon Rocket Synchron. Rocket Synchron is going to be normal summon to bring back Apsarauto Dragon, which is going to go into Striker Dragon. Striker Dragon is going to get us Boot Sector Launch. We are going to sack our Striker Dragon to get the Rocket Synchron back, using the effect of Boot Sector Launch to summon it back, so that we at least have 1 negate on the board. With 1 negate on the board, we set 3 pass. And the hand of Mothman is not exactly looking great here. We are able to negate the Unizombie, which basically stops his turn dead. And we are able to go into our turn. We do get another card set here. We punch over the Unizombie, hoping that that's enough to not start a chain later down the line. Mizuki is going to be drawn. Attempting to summon Mizuki gets met with a bottomless trap hole, forcing him to pass turn again. We draw Parallel Exceed for turn, which is absolutely useless. We just go ahead and punch in for 3,500, and then we wait. Zombie World gets drawn here, which is horrible, but we do have the Cosmic Cyclone. It's not Galaxy Cyclone, I call it that every time. Regardless, Necrobolt Banshee gets hit, which is going to summon another one, and at this point, I've already won the duel. We have confirmed it on the voice chat that we had, so I just decided to go on and style for a little bit. He's already scooped, why not just summon everything that's fun? We do get to Parallel Exceed ourselves here, going into Time Thief Finder. We do get to pop the back row. The back row is a super poly, which wouldn't have done anything if I only had 1 monster and didn't style. So we take the game and go to game 3. Game number 3, however, is where everything's on the line and our hand is not good enough to support it. Zombie World and Mizuki on board is not exactly hard to beat, but this is zombies. Anything I send away is going to ruin me regardless. We do manage to break the Zombie World here so we can actually do our combo, but it's not exactly the combo we want to do, and interruptions aren't really enough in this one. We do manage to get 2 negates onto the board at the very least to punch over the Mizuki here. Unfortunately, Shiranui Solitaire to hand. The Book of Life is going to come out here, which I expect to be a desperation move, so I do negate it, which was unfortunately incorrect. Unizombie is going to be summoned, forcing us to use our Fog Blade as well. And now we're kind of stuck. We draw Jisakiro, meaning we have to use it to get rid of the Unizombie, because if it's sitting there, it's a tuner that he can use to bring out his Halki Fibrax with any other normal summon. Unfortunately, that doesn't matter, because here he comes again. Thanks, zombies. I like your consistency. Zombie World is going to be brought out, of course, and then going to send the Glow-Up Bloom from hand, but he doesn't actually. He sends Driver, allowing him to go into more shenanigans, because at this point, he basically knows he has the game on lockdown. We do manage to use our Nibiru for the first time ever here. Unfortunately, we don't have dragons, meaning no matter what I do here, I'm dead. All he had to do was flip his rock into attack position, attack over something, and good game. Unfortunately, this means we've lost our first ever money match, and we now have a difficult decision ahead. I'll give it this. That actually ended up being a lot closer than I thought it would have been. If only we had a way to out Zombie World in Game 3, we may have stood a legitimate chance on taking it down this time. Unfortunately, that means we have to pay up, don't we? I have no intentions of losing Basil this early, simply because Beelzebub is literally one of the best cards in our deck currently, and losing him would make everything going forward a lot harder, so I'm opting to pay up this time. We'll drop 500 DP to protect him, and now doubling the cost for any future money matches. Unfortunate, but such is the way of life. However, if you enjoyed this episode, please do leave a like and comment down below for the algorithm, because, hey, this is how I earn money these days. If you would instead like to directly support me and influence the show, just like Mothman did today, there's the Patreon and YouTube membership. Do check them out, both have links in the description, or next to the description, because this is YouTube. However, as always, I hope you have a wonderful week ahead of you, and remember to stay safe out there.